Now let us understand various difficulties in the pipeline. You know that the difficulties can also be called hazards. A hazard will create a stall which will eventually affect the speed up of the pipeline. Let us have a look at what are these difficulties all about. There are three different kinds of difficulties. The first one is called a structural difficulty. Difficulty, as it's also called a hazard, it's a structural hazard. Second one is the data hazard, and the third one is a control hazard. Let us see what are these hazards all about. Let us understand the structural hazard. Structural hazard arises whenever more than one segment requires the same resource of the system. For an example, there is a resource connected to the system. Okay, this is the resource connected to the system. Now, an access to this resource is requested by more than one segment. Okay, so for an instance, this is a printer. Okay, only one printer is attached to the system. Now, more than one segment, let us state that S2 and S4, two segments requires an access to this printer. Okay, unless the service is provided to these two segments, the instruction cannot finish with that stage. But here, as the printer is a single entity, it can either serve S4 or S2, but not both at the same time. Again, S2 and S4 requesting the printer at the same time, and the printer is a single entity, and the printer can service only one of the instructions available in those segments, but not both segments at the same time. Let us take that. Printer decides to service S4. At that time, the instruction in the S2 will get stopped, right? The instruction in S2 will get stalled. The moment it gets stalled, which means that all the following instructions, subsequent instruction will also experience a stall. Okay, so this is one of the worst phenomena. The stall is the worst phenomena in pipelining because stall will affect the speed up. Stall will affect the speed up. Okay, this is what a structural hazard is all about. Initially, what we do is we will understand all the difficulties. Then we're going to find out the techniques to handle those difficulties, to resolve those difficulties. Okay, we're going to understand the difficulties initially. Of course, you know that the structural hazard will be caused by the access to a resource, same resource, by more than one segment at the same time. Okay, here it is given two segments, but generally it should be rephrased as one resource. If it is accessed by more than one segment at the same time, we are in a situation called a structural hazard, which leads to a stall. Later we'll discuss how this hazard can be handled. Next thing is the data hazard. Let us understand what a data hazard is. Okay, the data hazard is, let us say, there are 4 instructions: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, when first instruction enters into S1, second instruction would wait. First instruction enters into the second stage, second instruction can enter into the first stage. First instruction enters into the third stage, second instruction enters into the second stage, third instruction enters into the first stage. Likewise, as one instruction is moving to the next stage, next instruction enters into that respective stage. Right? Now here, I'm going to give you a situation. Understand that. Okay. Let us take that. 2 consecutive instructions are dependent on each other. For an example, the first instruction is x is equal to a plus b. Second instruction is y is equal to x plus z. You can clearly see the first instruction output is second instruction's input operand. Okay, can we send second instruction into the pipeline? Second instruction cannot enter into the pipeline unless the first instruction is completely executed. unless the first instruction is completely executed, we don't know what is X value. Okay, this A plus B, the ALU operation, will only be finished in the fourth stage. Unless the first instruction finishes with this fourth stage, second instruction's operand cannot be available. Second instruction operand is held by the first instruction's output. So until and unless the first instruction finishes with the final stage, I cannot send the second instruction into the pipeline at all. This is the difficulty. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to separate the first and second instruction. I need to maintain a gap in between first and second instruction. Let us stay focused. First instruction is X is equal to A plus B. Okay, second instruction is Y is equal to X plus Z. Okay, simple. Second instruction cannot enter into the pipe in the second clock cycle. Generally, it has to enter into the pipeline in the second clock cycle. Okay, but it won't be able to enter because first instruction should finish. First instruction should finish completely. It leaves the pipeline. Then only second instruction can enter into the pipeline. Okay, when it can enter, let us see. First instruction enters into the decode phase in the second clock cycle, third clock cycle, fourth clock cycle. Did you get it? After the fourth clock cycle, in the fifth clock cycle, it leaves, right? So second instruction will have to enter into the pipeline in the fifth clock cycle only. So we need to maintain a sufficient gap in between these two dependent instructions. Generally, it has to enter into the pipeline in the second clock cycle if there is no dependency. But as there is a dependency, we need to separate these two instructions by sufficient number of clock cycles. So rather than getting this second instruction into the pipeline in the second clock cycle, we need to get this into the pipeline in the fifth clock cycle. Okay, we need to get this second instruction into the pipeline in the fifth clock cycle. So we need to maintain a stall of 3 clock cycles, right? Generally, it has to enter in second clock cycle, but it is entering in the fifth clock cycle. So 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. Okay, this is the actual entry. This is the supposed entry. So 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. This is the stall cycle. Okay, now we will come back to the stall cycle later, but understand that these two instructions must be separated by a sufficient number of clock cycles.